This conference will now be recorded.
Hello all, welcome. Welcome to uh, performance testing using NeoLoad, and this is a real browser protocol. So let's go through know your instructor, right? I would like to introduce about myself, and I'll be your instructor throughout this course. So let's look at some of my attributes. So I'm Naveen. I am a certified expert in NeoLoad, and I have worked across all these domains: retail, banking, finance, insurance, healthcare, telecom, logistics, life science, etc. I have over 800 plus of live training experience. So this is my credentials. So about the benefits, right? By joining this course, what all that you can expect as a learner from this course. So let's look at this. Okay, so there will be a live question and answer clarification daily, right? So whenever the session happens, towards the end of the session, right, you can ask, we can have an interactive session. Okay, all the sessions, uh, that all the live sessions will be recorded, and this will be given access to you for lifetime. Okay, so whoever subscribes it or enrolls the course, they will get the access to the recorded sessions. Live troubleshooting session. So this is another advantage, right? So if you are facing any issue with your application, or if you're finding any difficulty in creating a script or setting up a configuration scenario or anything of that sort, I will make you a presenter. You can share your screen and we can I will help you in troubleshoot your issue. And of course, we know that, right? So now Tricentis has acquired Neotis, and they are providing one part of certification, which is a professional certification. So I can guide you on how you can, equip yourself in terms of hands-on, and what you can expect from this professional certification, and how you can clear this, right? And having this such certification, right, this will add a good weightage on your profile. So if a recruiter is looking at a non-certified person and a certified person, more chance, right? The more preference can be given to the certified folks, right? So towards the end of the course, we will be having a separate session just to discuss on this professional certification. Okay. About the course content, let's look at the course content. I will also show you the course content. Um, So we will be discussing about different performance testing concepts. Again, these concepts are the foundation or the fundamental of any performance testing. Okay, only the tool will be different, but the concepts remain the same. We'll go through the NeoLoad specific features and functionalities, right? Which is some some of them are not, some of can be is common, can be seen in other industry leading performance testing tools. Some of them is very specific to NeoLoad, or I would say indigenous to NeoLoad. We will be looking at that. Okay, and different components of NeoLoad. We'll be discussing about all the what are the different components that are there, right? And almost all these sessions, right, will be of practical demonstration and hands-on, except for 2 or 3 sessions where we'll be discussing about some concepts. Apart from that, we will be only focusing on the hands-on. Okay. Anybody has any question? I heard somebody unmuted. any questions on the course content or benefits? Okay, I take that as a no.
Hi sir, good
Yeah.
morning.
Hi,
Sir,
Neil. Good morning.
will it be included with any live project or demo project?
Yes, yes, we will be discussing about with the demo project itself, and we'll be creating the necessary scripts, and we will do the enhancements activities. Um, we'll discuss about different features, right? And then yeah, we'll also do a live execution, results analysis, uh, try to use results manager of NeoLoads, right? So we'll go through all of these. So the entire entire course, will be learning from the scripting, setting up the scenario, configuring it, executing it, analyzing the results, using results manager and other filters options. We will go through all these common uh, activities, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, thanks.
Yes. Any other questions before I move on? Okay. So course content. So there will be a minimum of 4 sessions per week. This is the target, um, and each session can go up to 1.5 hours per session. And this is based on the topic or the concept that we are discussing. Some concepts are small and quick, where we will club multiple concepts and discuss. Some of them are the nature of the concept is just bigger, right? So we will be taking at anywhere between 1 to 1.5 hours per session, and there will be a total of 18 to 20 sessions. Okay, this may go up to 4 or 5 weeks time. Okay, so this is the expectation, and of course there will be a practical lab sessions, and these sessions are usually conducted during the weekends or non-business days. Okay, fine. So let's proceed with real browser protocol, right? So I think this is the first uh, batch, right, about this real browser protocol. NeoLoad has recently come up with this real browser. Real browser is equivalent of True Client Web, right? Some of you may have worked with LoadRunner, True Client Web. Okay, it is very similar, but with little bit. So with True Client Web, there is a development feature, right, with LoadRunner. But in NeoLoad, it's very similar, but it's just slightly different. So we will discuss about it. Okay, so real browser, real browser technology is just on mouse clicks and keystrokes. Okay, this is not like a typical HTTP protocol where the entire request and responses are used, or not like SAP web where the entire request is sent as a package. But this is all about how a real user is working on the browser by making all these mouse clicks or keystrokes, and that is how a user interacts with the website or any application, web application. So a real browser abstract away all the protocol scripting complexity. Okay. So as you can see now, Microsoft has come up with this ASDF, uh, some kind of let's say authentication, right? And there are different kinds of authentication called Okta and a few other authentication related, let's say, security layer, right? So what happens? These when we are working with these complex applications, okay, so I would name all those complex applications, let's say Adobe Flex, Salesforce, Pega, and maybe even Siebel to a certain extent. So all these up- kinds of application has enhanced security, and these are predominantly seen in banking, finance, insurance, and reinsurance applications, right? So what happens when we are working with HTTP protocol? Okay, due to this added security layer, there are certain dynamic values where the NeoLoad or the browser itself is unable to capture these values, and hence those values cannot be correlated, right? Uh, so in that case, what happens? The script will be redundant with a lot of complexity. Sometimes we can't even capture the value. Even if we capture it, there will be other kinds of encoding or decoding kind of issues, where real browser will solve all these kinds of issues, because it is it is simulating a real user actions on the browser level. Okay, so let's look at some of the attributes about real browser. So with real browser protocol, you can rapidly develop uh, rapid test development, that is with a short amount of time we can create a script, create a population, set up a scenario, and execute. So more or less, let's say in 2 hours time we can do all these activities. Okay, so this is really an accelerated script development, or I would say test development. Okay, so the scripts that are developed with real browser are highly resistant to any kinds of app volatility, right? So there is business logic, right? So what happens when there is a new update happens? One is the end user update, where the new version needs to be installed, or uh, something like that. Another one is a business logic update. When this business logic update happens, the UI, there won't be any change or different in the UI per se. It is the same thing, the same interactive features can be used, but something that is happening in the back end, right? Let's say the back office, it got changed, right? So when such business logic updates happens frequently, the application tend to become volatile. That means the kind of data that gets passed between the server to the client, or vice versa, it keeps rapidly changing, right? So real browser resolves that also. That is, scripts are highly resistant to all these business logic changes, right? And there is one more part, which is real browser tends to utilize high memory and CPU, and then hence it becomes an expensive uh, a way of doing the execution. Okay, we will discuss about this high memory and CPU as we progress, so that we all know what exactly that we are looking at. Okay, so let me open NeoLoad. Okay, so I'll show you how we can record a real browser protocol. So to be on real browser, if you want to work with real browser, you have to install a minimum of 9.0. Okay, I'm on latest version 9.1.1. Okay, installation of NeoLoad we will discuss tomorrow, but for now today I would like to show you. Yes, somebody has any questions?
Yes, Naveen.
Yes, yes,
And
Uday.
yeah, this is for the proxy based or any tools kind of installation.
Proxy based. Sorry, I didn't get you.
Sorry, this is for the like load run installation like that. So this based on that NeoLoad like that and installation any kind of installation for the apps.
I I still couldn't understand. So what you're asking is uh, installation of
Yes,
NeoLoad.
how to? Yes, yes,
How to install NeoLoad? I will show you where you can go to download the NeoLoad version. How you can install it. I will show you in the
yeah,
upcoming session. Okay.
that's why I'm asking. Like Jmeter also proxy based is working, right? So that's
Correct,
why
correct. Now
I
I get it. Fine, fine, fine. So what you are asking is with the Jmeter,
yes,
we enable the proxy with
yes,
Firefox. Then we will
yes,
try to establish a communication between
yes, yes.
the web browser and the tool, and then we will try to record. So with NeoLoad, right? NeoLoad is like load runner. All these
Okay,
proxies creating proxy servers, all this part is done automatically. Okay, so it's not like
okay,
JMeter where we have to manually set up the proxy and then establish the communication. But with NeoLoad, it happens automatically. So I will show you
okay.
now
Yeah.
how this happens. Okay.
Naveen, one more question. Hello.
Yes, yes, yes.
Does this real browser opens all web applications?
Yes. Any application that is working on web browser, you can work with this real browser. Any application. There is no limitation like let's say Java serialization or any specific requirement, right? With a different protocol. Even if the application is have a different protocol, still if that can be worked on a web browser, you can take advantage and work with real browser.
Okay, so if I am testing, let us say yahoo.com for example, so that can be opened from the neoload and I can use the script, right? I can real browser I can use the script, right?
Yes, yes, you can use it.
So web application that's opened on Chrome or IE or Firefox that can be opened on the real browser.
Correct. It can be worked with, but one thing, Internet Explorer is obsolete. It is no
Yeah,
longer,
yeah,
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 it
yeah,
has been,
yeah. Agree. Now
uh,
Edge is there. Edge is there now.
yes, yes, Microsoft did. So, Internet Explorer is being decommissioned by Microsoft, saying like it has some security flaws. So now only Edge,
Yes.
Edge is used, and with real browser, right? There is one part which is I will show you now, right? So how this will work. Hmm? Do you have any other questions before I continue with the recording?
That's it. That's it.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So so let me show you how we can record a simple script with real browser. Okay, see this, right? Start recording. This button, you can use this button. So I'm getting you can also use a chat box if you have any other questions. I will answer that. Okay, so I will continue. I will proceed with this. So you can use this start recording button, and you can also see it here, right? Start recording. Okay, click on this, and this will bring up the start recording wizard. Okay, and let's say like I'm providing some name like sample one. And below, we can see this, right? These options, different options. Web, web is HTTP. It is associated with HTTP protocol. SAP GUI is with SAP. Citrix, Citrix is Citrix ICA. And then here we see the real browser. Okay. So uh, throughout this course, we will be only discussing about real browser. We are not discussing about any other protocol. Okay. So let's continue. So enable real browser recording. So I'm just enabling this. Okay. And here there are few options to look at. Okay. So recorded selectors. Okay. There are two options. So we will discuss about these two options in detail. Okay, so for now I'm retaining this as XPath. Okay, resolution, whatever the default resolution that this machine has, so this is just showing up, but we can also change this resolution value to the desired value. Local, keep it default, and even the time zone, best keep it default. Okay, so let me just click on OK. See, if you see the okay, let me continue clicking on OK. Okay, so this is the recording bar. Okay, and this should launch a Chrome instance. Okay, so now let's say a Chrome instance is being launched. Okay, and here below you can see this, right? This is in completely in blue color. Blue color is like a chromium. Okay, so again we will discuss in detail about this. What is the difference between this one and this Chrome? Okay, so for now I'm continue to record. Okay, so I'll click, I'll say launch. So I'm launching the application. I can see this is the recorded URL that I would like to launch. I can click it, or I can copy and paste it in the address bar. Okay, and in the transaction, so like how we uh, provide the transaction name, be it in Jmeter or LoadRunner, same way, just providing the transaction name, then clicking on the application. Okay, so this application has launched. Okay, now let's say I say go to click fish, clicking on this fish button. So this has loaded click fish. Let's say click angelfish, clicking on angelfish. So select item. I'm selecting any of this item. Okay, so I have opened this item. Let's say I decide to go back to the home page. On this home page button. Okay, and this is the workflow. So we will discuss about workflow and other concepts in detail as we progress. So this is the workflow that we have decided, and then you see there is this. Okay, I will just walk you through quickly. There is a pause button. You can pause the recording in the middle. Stop the recording. These are different containers. We will discuss about it, and this is just used to give a transaction name. You can add a new transaction, and this is a rendezvous checkpoint or assembly point. Okay, so for now I have completed the recording and I am clicking on stop. Okay, so the moment I clicked on stop recording, the Chromium instance, it got closed by itself. Okay, and the technologies, it says real browser. Okay, NeoLoad has detected the following technology, which is real browser. I'm clicking on next. Okay, it is safe to use recorded think time. Okay, later if we want to change, we can change it. I will show you where you can change the think time. And think time, some of you may know about the think time. Think time is just the human think time. Okay, so if I'm as the end user working on any web application, so I'm taking some time to transact, right? See, for example, let's say if I'm going to this website, so I logged in and I am now taking some time to click on this fish, right? Again, I'll take some more time to click on this angelfish, right? So all this the time taken for the next transaction, or the right definition is time taken between two transaction. Okay, that is think time. Okay, so here it is best to use the recorded think time. Okay, later if we need, we can modify it. So I'm using the recording think time, and then I'm clicking on finish. Okay, so the script is being recorded and it is ready. And so we see all this. Okay, so I will explain all these different let's say different uh, actions. These are real browser actions. You see there is a, so let me explain this. So I'm expanding. Okay, so how we can interpret this script, right? This may look little different, okay, but it is I will show you in a very simple terms. You see there is a document with a blue ball, right, with a different uh, kind of icon here. This means it's a real browser action. Okay, so if I click on this, so this is how the real browser let's say the settings looks like. Okay, you can see the browser is Chromium, the resolution, whatever the resolution that it has used, and some settings that which I have provided as default. Okay, so it's, this has taken ENUS, and time zone is Asia Calcutta, so it's plus 530. And user agent is just a piece of code that determines which client the user is working with. Okay, so like this we have other actions. So you can see this, the URL, and there is a lot of explanation provided here and other attributes that we can also find it here. Okay, don't get overwhelmed by looking at this. Okay, uh, so we have recorded this this script. Okay, uh, so let's say I would like to execute this script. Okay, so how do I do? I, you see this, there is a check a user path. Okay, I will click on this check a user path. So this brings up check a user path validity. Okay, I'm just clicking on advanced. Okay, I will change this handle cache to new user. Okay, so I'm doing this so that every time a new user gets simulated. Okay, that's the and this is by default. We have to change this value unless we are looking at a as a recorded one or a returning user. Okay, so for now I've just changed to a new user. Okay, uh, any automation, anybody any automation folks or anybody who has worked on automation, uh, I would like to know. You can also use chat box. Anybody who has worked on Selenium or some other. So I'm seeing no. Okay, fine, wonderful. So I guess most of them are only from performance. Okay, fine. Okay, in the Selenium scripts, right, there is something called as head and with head or headless mode. Okay, with this real browser, it will, when we execute this check a user path, right, this will run with the head mode. Okay, so I'm just clicking on, so I did not change or modify any settings. I have just went to this advanced and changed the handle cache to new user. That's the only change I have done, and then I'm clicking on start checking. Okay, so what this will do is this will invoke a Chrome instance, right? That is a Chromium instance. It's not a Chrome instance, it's a Chromium instance. And then it will manually show it to us how the exact way how I have navigated the application. The same way this is also going to navigate it. It is taking time. It is because of you see this, right? The Chrome instance has started. Actually, it has went too fast. Okay, so I will show once again. Start checking. So this is taking some time to invoke a Chromium instance. So now see this, right? It is loading, fish is getting clicked, coming back to okay. Okay, see this, right? So with RealBroswer protocol, right? Uh, there is nothing like correlation, right? There is no challenge of handling all these dynamic values, right? Generally, we know, right, with the HTTP protocol, the correlation just amounts to 80 to 85% of the script uh, progress, script development activity. Okay, so we have to get the dynamic value, handle the dynamic values, and get it right to complete the scripting. If the correlation goes wrong, then the script will not work as expected. RealBroswer completely abstract away all these complexities, especially with the complex applications that I have listed: Pega, Salesforce, um, Siebel, and Flex. Right? These applications has, if we do a simple login and logout transaction, we can find anywhere between 200 to 300 dynamic values that gets passed around. And these applications are resource intensive applications. That means if we try to load these applications on a Chrome browser, a lot of content gets downloaded, a lot of components gets loaded, and different components is for different purpose and objective. So that's how, like, it is like a highly complex amalgamation of various components. Okay, so to avoid all this complexities, a RealBroswer is a real winner here. But with the RealBroswer, there are few nitty-gritties that we will see throughout this session. How we can, create a standard script that can be associated with RealBroswer and then work with it. Anybody has any questions? Okay, so so this is how we can record and replay. Uh, See this, right? I did not do any enhancements activity, but we will discuss about how we can manually create this script, and what is the difference between this XPath and CSS path, which is best suited, and other settings. Okay, this we will discuss in the upcoming session. In the upcoming session, we will also discuss about how we can install the latest version NeoLoad into your system. And for starting, we would not need any license. Okay, for developing a script and setting up a scenario, a license is not required. License is required only when we are executing the test. Okay, so I recommend not to sign up for any license at this point of time. You can just download the NeoLoad and install it into your system, and as we progress with the course and sessions, we can also continue with that, by doing some hands-on. And as I said, there will be troubleshooting sessions or Q&A sessions where you can get your queries clarified, and if you are facing any difficulty, you can also share your screen, and we will discuss about that. Okay, just a moment. So there is if you have any other questions, you can post. Ask me. Also use the chat box. Yes, somebody has any questions? Okay, so I'm just showing the course content. I hope you can see my screen, right? Can anybody please confirm? Can you see my screen? Okay, great. Fine. So let's go through the content. Okay. So we will be discussing about all this introduction to NeoLoad or PT. It's a little bit of uh, let's say a theory or some kind of a concepts that we will discuss, and then we will jump into hands-on activities. Okay. So we will be discussing in with different kinds of recording, right? So I just showed you about the XPath one, but there is much more. We have to deep dive into this XPath and how we can find it in case if we want to modify the existing scripts, how we can do that. Okay, that we will see. And same thing with the CSS, right? So how the CSS plays a role, we will be discussing these two in detail. There are some real browser actions, right? Some of the actions we will be discussing because these actions are kind of fundamental or basic, or creates the necessary base to uh, to work with real browser protocol. Okay. There are some assertions and other variable managers, how we can sometimes what happens, if we are when we are working with real browser actions, uh, the only variable that we would be using is the user defined variable, because there is no server sent variables. Or even if we can also try to take advantage of any server sent information, try to extract it and work with it. But mostly with real browser protocol, variable manager is focused, that is user defined variables are in the focus. So we will discuss some of the variable manager or variables, and how we build a population, right? Building a population, uh, and we'll discuss about this browser emulation, network simulation, and other aspects. Then there is monitoring, how we can add a monitor to the system. Runtime, right? How we can create and set up a scenario, different kinds of configurations, policies. And one important aspect is the load engine or load generator resource utilization. Like I said, with real browser protocol, it is uh, memory and CPU intensive. Okay, it is try to consumes more. Uh, co- uh, it's expensive, right? So we will also discuss uh, something in the background, like how this Chromium instance works. This instance works as a process. It will not work as a thread. As somebody was discussing about Jmeter, right? In Jmeter, it is called as thread group, right? Any scripts are called as thread group. So basically, it runs as a thread. But with real browser, this will run as a process, and we will see, we will match the positives or pros and cons of these both, and how one should prepare for the execution, right? That we will discuss. And then with the results, we will look at how a typical real browser uh, results will look like, and how we can use this results manager, generating a report, comparing our results, etc. Okay. So this is the course content, and I will also share this content in the group. Okay. Any questions? Uh, so Neil is asking if there is no prior uh, knowledge on the performance, can we work? Of course, yes. So this is a kind of protocol where there is no, let's say, the common, let's say this dynamic values, handling of dynamic values or something, right? We do not find these issues here, but developing a script or working with the script, there are other aspects from the real browser. protocol that we will be discussing, and it is and you can uh, really quickly develop the complete tests. Muninder is asking the duration of this course. So as I said, duration will take uh, anywhere between 18 to 20 sessions, and on an average 4 to 5 sessions per week. This may go up to 4.5 weeks, or maybe up to 5 weeks of sessions. Okay. Uh, so another question is, how is the market for NeoLoad? Okay, good question. So if we see this right, NeoLoad is a proprietary tool, right? Jmeter is a open source. LoadRunner again is a open source. LoadRunner is a proprietary, and there are different tools that is coming in the market, and uh, I am seeing NeoLoad as a kind of let's say kind of a replacement for LoadRunner, right? The mostly the companies, right, or the companies which is of banking, finance, insurance, reinsurance, these domains, right? These domains, uh, usually they will not go with open source unless if it's for only internal application. Okay, generally they will prefer a proprietary tool. And LoadRunner, if you see, LoadRunner is very expensive, and NeoLoad is 3 times less expensive than LoadRunner. Okay, and NeoLoad offers similar feature, but LoadRunner has a lot of protocol support. It has a lot of protocol support, and due to that they are still one of the industry leading. But with web, if we look at web, NeoLoad is trying to take more market share, and now they have come up with this real browser. uh, more and more shares will be moved towards NeoLoad. So NeoLoad is growing, and after Tricentis acquired Neotis, they've been pitching. They are creating an ecosystem of complete, let's say, test complete, right? So they start from uh, the all from the end-to-end test solutions Tricentis is trying to provide by partnering with Neotis or acquiring Neotis. So another question: does the protocol supported by LoadRunner by NeoLoad? I did not understand this question. Does the protocol supported by LoadRunner by NeoLoad? Sorry, if you can rephrase this question.
I mean to say, if a load runner supports some protocols, okay,
Mhm.
that does the same protocols are supported by the neo load?
So the currently with NeoLoad, right? These are the protocols supported by NeoLoad: Web, that is HTTP, SAP GUI, Citrix, and then Real Browser.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
So there are
one
other
more thing.
protocols. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Tell me.
Okay. So learning this new load. So if there is another tool I wanted to update, then I can apply the same similarity of the common terms to other tools and I can learn directly, right?
Correct. Yes. The concept wise, it is the same across different tools. Only the way how the tool will work is different. Any other questions on the course or?
So, Naveen, what will be the challenging I mean, we face while doing this near load tool in real time?
So challenges. See, challenges again depends on which protocol that we are working on. So if we are working with web protocol, okay, and let's say uh, fortunately or unfortunately we got a complex application. What happens? The challenge becomes the values that are returned by the server. Okay, that is in the handling the dynamic values. That could be a major challenge. But if we are working with real browser, okay, then the challenge is on load generator or how we are handling the resourcing. Okay, also we can see there could be some challenges in understanding uh, how the end user is navigating the web application. But although that may not be in our actual challenge, the real challenge that I see from the real browser is how we are configuring or configuring the resources. That could be another challenge. But generally
Uh,
there will be some challenges. Yes. Yeah, tell me.
what will be the supporting language to enhance the script?
Supporting language.
Enhance the script.
Okay, I didn't get you.
For example, if you are recording and playing back, right?
Mhm.
So it's always the same scenario. Sometimes you may need to enhance the script. So in that
Correct.
time, what will normally load runner uses the C language. Okay, Jmeter uses
Correct.
Java. Like NeoLoad uses which scripting language?
So with real browser, right? With real browser, this will there is no language is being used here. Okay, it's a different protocol, or it's like kind of a, see, if you see, not sure if you are aware of True Client Web. True Client does not uses any language. Okay, it is just completely based on the the end user actions. That is the mouse clicks, scrolling, clicking, typing something. All those will be taken as actions. Okay, but with web per se, uh, NeoLoad also uses Java.
Okay. Okay. So while playing back, sometimes you may need to enhance or update the script. So you have to use the Java to update the same, right?
No, 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 no. See, NeoLoad is highly intuitive. Okay, and it is a highly user friendly tool. We will not mostly use any kind of coding. It's a codeless design. NeoLoad's core is a codeless design. So that is why anybody who is a beginner, they can really ramp up themselves, equip themselves in a matter of 1 or 2 months, and then start directly contributing into their projects that they are working with. It's a completely codeless design. It's not like how we see in load runner, right? You will see a bunch of code gets generated after we complete the recording, right? And then load runner has its own, let's say, load runner functions, web functions, and using, we have to take advantage of these functions to enhance the script. Okay, but with neoload, that is not the case. With neoload, it is mostly, it is we will only work with the tool, and it is, we will not, there is a no necessary of using any coding or custom coding is not there. Okay.
Okay, coming to report generation. So normally, which kinds of reports we will use to here to present to the end user? Once you have given an application, okay. So we wanted to present to the user or a client. So
Mm.
their application performance. So what type of the reports we will use here?
Uh, Reporting, see, yeah, there are two things. Okay, one is there is a built-in report generating uh, aspects. Okay, that we can see in the results manager. Okay, uh, we can use that, but generally providing this NeoLoad generated report to the client or presenting it to the internally is fine. Let's say you're sharing this, excuse me, you're sharing the results with your TL or somebody. It's good, it's okay, it's agreeable, but it is best to provide only the required information. So if I can show you, let's say we will open some other project, some previous projects I'm randomly opening. So if we see the results, right? So results. So these are some executions that we have done previously. Okay. So you can use this generate a report and create a report. Okay. And this is kind of a, and see, I will show you one. When you generate a report, you have a lot of sections. See, these things we have to go through. Okay. Else it'll be like a black box. So there are various sections here, right? There is summary, execution, context, this population, transaction, user paths, all this different. You see this, right? Left hand side, all this different um, let's say the segments of the report. Okay. Sometimes it is not required that we provide all the information to the client. We have to provide only the information that is required, or even we have to provide it to them so that they can consume it in a effortlessly, consume that data effortlessly. Okay. So best option or way that we do is to create a separate report by using this information. So if I go to let's say transactions, so there are some information that I'm seeing here, and you see this, right? This metrics, client side metrics that I'm seeing, we can use this. So if I look at different execution, okay, see there are more information that are here, right? So either we can generate a report and then directly provide it to them, which most of the folks, let's say the senior management or the client, may not be aware of what is this, right? So it is best we create a separate report, maybe in an Excel sheet or a Word document, and then put only the necessary information and provide the observations, recommendations, remediation process, or the next. So if you're working with agile based projects, you can also pitch in for the next what can be done in the upcoming release, right? That is from the performance stories you can propose. So there are various parts here. Okay. So any other questions? Mhm. So this is this is a web protocol that we have done in previously. So one other part is we will also compare a typical web script and with a real browser's script. So as we progress, we will do all these activities. So if you don't have any questions, I think we can wrap up. We are only 5 minutes away from the session. Okay, I take that as a no. There are no other questions. If you have any questions, you can also post it in the group. Okay, or and we will connect tomorrow. Thank you all for joining, taking your time. Have a nice day and a good week ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, sir.